Okay, now on the tab sheet, we're looking at lesson 4. And if you're looking at the neck diagram, this would be lesson 3. So now we're talking about this third shape, this third pattern. But remember, the formula for this minor pentatonic scale is a root, flatted third, the fourth, the fifth, and the flatted seventh. The root was A, that started the first scale. The flatted third is C, that was the second pattern we learned. Now we're on the fourth, which is D, okay? So we started here, A, that was our C. Now the second note of that second pattern, that's your D note. So if you look at the tab, that's why we're at the 10th fret. And the shape that we're going to play, the notes we're going to play are D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E. Remember the pentatonic scale, A minor pentatonic is just A, C, D, E, G, A. 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 So I'm just playing those 5 notes, but now we're starting to learn these patterns up the neck. This is how guitar players move across the neck, is they learn these areas of overlap. They start to see them. They learn a bunch of solos. They learn licks, and they start to recognize how B.B. King or Stevie Ray Vaughan or John Mayer or Clapton, work their way through these scales. The problem is we get trapped in the pattern and we don't really learn the full pattern and we don't connect it to the whole neck. So we get stuck playing these same licks over and over. So hopefully this is going to help you open up the guitar neck more, see this all as just one scale that you've mapped out across the neck, and work on your alternate picking. So let's look at this lesson number 4. We're at the 10th fret, and I'll start this with my first finger. So this is A minor pentatonic starting on the 4th note of the scale, the D. So I'm going to play 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. I kick back a fret and I do 1, 4 with 2 frets in between. I kick up a fret and do 1, 4 and then 1, 3. All right, so it'll look like this. And then I, would move up a fret. Move up a fret. And then I would keep that going. And I would do the same thing. I would start down low, and I just work my way up in the neck because I want to really get that shape under my fingers. I want to work out those transitions from that 1, 4 with 2 frets in between, move up 1, 4. Like I just want to kind of rote memorize that. So I get the shape under my fingers. And again, remember, we're always concerned about where the root note is of the key we're in. So if I go back to this pattern at the 10th fret, I have an A right here at the 12th fret, and I have an A right here at the 10th fret on the 2nd string. So remember, in that second shape we learned, A minor pentatonic starting on C here at the 8th fret. We have an A there, we have an A here. Well, that A is also in this third shape, A minor pentatonic starting on D. So A, 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 A. So now we're starting to identify important notes in the key, and this will come up later when we're talking about how to target chords when you're improvising. So let's give it a little run just with this third pattern, and I'll start down here in the 1st fret, okay? So we're going to start on F, and this is the 3rd shape. And again, I would do that all the way up to neck, that one scale by itself, just like we did with the first 2 shapes. So now let's talk about what is below that, the bottom of the page on the neck diagram, okay? So this would get us into putting all 3 of them together. All 3 shapes that we've learned so far. The A minor pentatonic starting on A minor pentatonic starting on C, and now this new one. And if you look at the bottom of that page, you can see it looks like a jigsaw puzzle. Now it's all starting to look like, where does scale 1 end, or shape 1? Where does the second one begin? Now we have these 3 put together. And this is going to be what we'll cover in lesson 5.